I won't even reach out. I would read this or kind of listen to this video on YouTube and just kind of get like an understanding.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Young for Curious Goal. Are you interested in Amazon? Are you interested in stock management or supply chain? Well, you found the right video. In this video, I interview a current in-stock manager at Amazon to learn more about her journey of joining Amazon as well as working here at Amazon as a senior in-stock manager. Let's jump right in. Can you please tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. As you know, my name is Astha and I'm from India. I studied there and did my economics degree for my undergraduate. And then I moved here in the US for my MBA at UNC Keenan Flagler. After that, I've been working at Amazon after my MBA, and I've been doing in-stock management for both PC and Office, which are both categories within our retail teams. I have not had experience in supply chain before, so this has been an interesting pivot in my career, and I've been enjoying it.
Can you tell me a little bit about your process of getting into Amazon?
So I applied to Amazon for their MBA internships somewhere around 2018, and I came into Amazon as an intern. Came here, did my internship in a very different team. It was product management in the retail tech or the global retail learning team, as they call it now. And that was a very interesting experience for me because, again, that's stuff that I'd not done before. And the full-time offer in itself was within the retail leadership development program, which meant that I would come back to Amazon in a different rotation potentially. Mm-hmm. And that's when I came back in as an in-stock manager, even though I'd done product management over the summer. So this is a great program for anyone who wants to have category experience across different functions so that they have an accelerated path towards category leadership within retail.
So can you tell me a little bit about what you do as an in-stock manager?
So within Instock, you are essentially responsible to make decisions with respect to Amazon's supply chain as well as the vendor's supply chain, and then find areas of alignment within that. So it kind of exposes you to a lot of different systems that we use within Amazon because a lot of things are automated. So it's a very different take on supply chain management. You've got to be analytical, but you've also got to be a person who's able to understand how different systems work together and create a certain output and what within that system you end up controlling. In general, this is also a role where you have a decent amount of vendor communication, where you're understanding, again, how their supply chain works, what are the unique aspects of it, and areas where you need to find alignment within yours, as well as some sort of like operational efficiencies that you can find out based on different programs that Amazon launches at scale for different vendors. So it's definitely one of the more sort of like roles where you end up communicating more with vendors and communicating a lot more with internal supply chain optimization teams or transportation teams or carrier teams, stuff like that. So it's a very cross-functional role. And one of your big stakeholders is obviously the vendor manager, who is essentially like a buyer at Amazon, who will directly be coordinating and sort of negotiating a lot of different details with the vendor so that we're able to replicate those agreements within our P&L at Amazon.
Got it. Did you have any supply chain management experience before, prior to coming into Amazon?
So I actually did not. I worked at a company in India, which is called Zomato. It's a startup for food tech. And I did everything but supply chain there. That was one of my big motivations to kind of get into like in-stock right here and have that experience because, you know, I feel like what's a better place to learn supply chain than Amazon? So I feel like this role specifically gives you a very good overview of what is there within the supply chain to learn so that you can assess and identify like what within it interests you and then kind of pursue that as a more sort of niche career going forward as well.
Was there any learning curve when you first started as an in-stock manager?
Lots of things. So it was definitely a learning curve, and I kind of did expect it because I was like, you know, I've interned here. I would already have like 3 months of additional experience, so I should know things. But then once I came here, I realized that's not the case. It did take me about, say, 3 months to ramp into my role, where I was learning about like industry, sort of like, you know, industry vocabulary. I was learning about Amazon vocabulary. I was learning about actual concepts, as well, again, like what are the automated tools that I have at my disposal and what are the best ways of managing so much data to make decisions. So I definitely feel like 1 month I took to understand all of this and literally just write notes, read it, learn it, you know, things like that. And then I started applying that within the next 1 month. And then by the third month is when I actually got comfortable doing that on a day in, day out basis, after which I would say that you have the ability to build a certain sort of subject matter expertise once you've spent that much time learning something.
What do you like most about your job and what do you most dislike about your job?
That's a good question too. Yeah, so I think one of the things that I really like about my job is that I have a lot of ownership over things that I do, specifically as it comes to like any sort of strategic projects that I'm driving. Personally, what I get motivated at work by is seeing the work that I do come out as a result. So I really appreciate being able to measuring the impact of the work that I'm doing. And this role really helps me kind of see that. Like, if I make a decision today, I'm able to see what happens because of that in, say, 3 weeks. And I feel like that in itself is very motivating for me. Outside of that, I think what I probably don't dislike about my job is that I have a lot of stakeholders on a daily basis. It's not something I dislike, it's something that I take a lot of time getting used to, just making sure that I have enough
Sure.
communication in a way that each audience understands and I'm able to get that sort of stakeholder alignment. Ultimately, I do enjoy that process in the end. It's
Yeah.
just that in the beginning, it can be a little challenging, at least
Yeah.
for me, because I've been in a sort of like more, my scope of role in my prior company was slightly smaller. So I'm not just used to it. So this is a new skill set, so to say, that I've been building, and it's just been challenging. So I would probably put it in that category.
What was the most surprising thing that you find out about Amazon after joining?
I think one of the most surprising things was its agility. Like, you don't expect a big company to be agile. Like, you hear about those things, but you're like, yeah, there have to be limitations in the way those things can be implemented. And it surprises me every day on how such a vast company can pivot a lot of like business decisions based on reality and how that changes. And it's great to be a part of that organization when this happens. But it still surprises me every day. Like, I just can't believe that we're so nimble. That, I think, is one of the bigger traits that get like any company to be successful. And I think Amazon's done a brilliant job at that.
Last question, what advice would you give to people who want to, join Amazon or even become an Instock manager?
I think I'm going to start with joining Amazon because there's so many options here. But I think one thing I would definitely say is review the leadership principles and internalize them. I cannot trust on how important they are and how internalized within the company culture they are. And I never thought that way when I kind of joined the company, because I'm like, yeah, leadership principles, it's a guiding culture, great. It's genuinely very definitive of the culture. And I would encourage any person who wants to join the company that reach out to an Amazonian and just understand what they mean. They mean different things to different people, and they don't necessarily mean exactly the literal words that they read. So I feel like understanding their application and then going back into your journey, understanding where you've applied that, just so that you're able to reinforce the stories in your interviews is important. And more than that, I feel like these principles also give you a very good understanding of what Amazon's culture is like, right? So assess for yourself whether these things make sense for you. Are they your personal principles as well? Not every one of them is going to be, but do you resonate with more than just a few to say that, yes, I want to be in this company, I'm going to be a great fit, and I'm going to do really, really well. So I feel like spend a lot of time on this. I feel like for an Instock manager, I would reach out to someone to I won't even reach out. I would read this or kind of listen to this video on YouTube and just kind of get like an understanding of what in-stock management's about. But I would also get like some perspective about the retail industry and just understand like, how does retail operate in non-Amazon companies, like other companies? Like, what do they do? What does Amazon do differently? And then understand, like, does your passion even lie within supply chain? If it does this role make sense for you? Or going to a very specific supply chain team, say, for example, one that looks at middle mile or last mile, does that make more sense for you? So I feel like there are definitely some differences. You get some perspective of it on job descriptions, on some industry resources about retail, and then ultimately like videos like this or chats with people who are in similar sort of shoes. So assess what in supply chain excites you, because supply chain is a vast sort of subject. And if you know nothing about it, then Instock is a great way to kind of get to know and build a lot of knowledge about it.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I think that was all my questions for today. Thank you so much, Asta. I really appreciate your time again. I'm sure a lot of people would be, grateful for this information that you provided.
Well, thank you so much for watching today. Please subscribe, like, and share with your friends if you want more contents like this. Stay tuned for more videos, and thank you.